without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Greg Pruitt. He's the Sheriff's Community Outreach Coordinator, and he does a lot of things, like he is a bus driver once in a while. When we went up to the Sheriff's Youth Branch, he was the bus driver, and today he's going to talk about the Citizens Academy. So, welcome, Greg.
This way. Thank you all for allowing me to be part of y'all's meeting today. I appreciate the opportunity to get to share with you all just a little bit about myself and what I get to do at the Sheriff's Office, my contribution to the agency. And so like Barry mentioned, let's see. So I tried to make this PowerPoint really for you guys, but can't lie. It's actually for me. It keeps me on track. So it is my cheat sheet and my note cards. Just quick.
Everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
It's a little big.
Like Barry said, my name is Greg Pruitt. I serve as the Community Outreach Coordinator at the Sheriff's Office. I've been with the Sheriff's Office approximately 2 years now. Actually, my first week in my current position, which was about a year ago now, I was with your shooting sports club going up on a bus up to the youth ranch. And so that was my first experience into this new role. And but prior to that, I served a year in our report taker system, where I got to work alongside our deputies, our detectives, and taking in their reports and just entering that data into our online database system and having that for record retention, for data purposes, and for court purposes as well. And so I assisted in that. But now in this role as a community outreach coordinator, there are, this is a new position to the agency. I'm the first one in this position, and so we are building it up and building it as it goes along. And so it's been an awesome experience this last year, just to kind of see what we can mold that into. So with that being said,
There you go.
Something happened.
with that being said,
What a good-looking group.
I do tend to
We
wear.
dim these lights a little bit and it'll show up a lot better.
What are we doing?
Shut the lights on.
There's switches over there.
So in this position, in this role at the agency, I will wear a couple different hats. Sometimes I am a bus driver. I had to go through a CEL course to be able to drive that bus, and I am not mechanically inclined. So that was a process. So any of you who have CDL licenses, kudos to you. Or if you have done that in the past, that is an awesome course and very nerve-wracking. But I have successfully taken people up there and back several times now, and so if we ever take you guys again, please, I want to give you my vote of confidence. And as well as every now and then, I get to assist our crime prevention deputy in his outreach opportunities. I don't have any pictures of him and some of the kids programs that we will entertain, whether that's in a school and we go and be part of the school's DARE program, or we'll go and also serve alongside a Christmas party for children that are maybe a little bit more underprivileged in our community, and host a Christmas party, invite them to it, and get to assist in even his partner, Mr. McGruff, as you'll see in the top couple pictures there. And then we get to go meet different groups like yourselves. We get toy donations, we get blanket donations, new and brand new toys, brand new teddy bears that our deputies can take out on the road with them as they encounter children in crisis situations, that they can give them a sense of hope and a sense of just comfort in those opportunities. And so, but also I get to coordinate with community partners. I get to coordinate with places like Mission Barbecue, who just yesterday, they were able to feed our new recruits at the CF Law Enforcement Academy. And so I get to coordinate and just connect community partners together, and I get to make lasting connections with different groups across the community and we're trying to, ultimately, my goal is to build a good working relationship with the broader community of Marion County. I want to be involved. I want the sheriff's office to be involved with groups like yourselves, and partner together to make this a great community, to keep this a great community of all the different demographics that make it up and all the different areas that make it up. And so we want to instill a positive working relationship with our local law enforcement agency, giving you a sense of trust in your local law enforcement, as well as just having law enforcement come and just be with the community, not necessarily in that police mode all the time, but just interacting, just engaging, and having those opportunities to just build on that relationship that is vital for the community. I'm gonna keep walking back and forth. A little closer. There we go. But one of the main hats that I wear is I'm the organizer and the facilitator of our Marion County Sheriff's Office Citizens Academy. And so what I get to do is I get to coordinate with presenters across various departments of our agency, and I get to connect with a multitude of people from all areas of our community who want to learn and hear about what it is that the Sheriff's Office is doing on a day-to-day basis. Hearing from the men and women of our agency to better have a sense of understanding, a sense of information and knowledge attained to them, and that will give them just a little bit more insight into what your taxpayer dollars are going towards. So we cover that through a wide array of classes, and I'll go into that in just a minute here. I will note that Mr. Don Erickson has been part of our Citizens Academy since I've been in the role, and I don't know if anybody else has participated in our Citizens Academy in a while. And so I previously, this was under our volunteer coordinator position, and so it has now since moved over to my position. And we've had it, we just wrapped up our class 26 in the current model that we have going on now. And so I'm working on securing dates for our next session that will take place in February or early March. But all that being said, I can show you pictures all day, but there we go. So the Citizens Academy, what is the Citizens Academy? So out there you may hear a lot about different Citizens Academy programs that are offered throughout the community. I know OPD, they have a Citizens Academy, so there's another law enforcement academy that gives you insight into their city police work. We also have the Marion County government that offers a Citizens Academy as well, in which they give you insight into the different departments of your local government. But the Marion County Sheriff's Office is looking to provide you information specifically on the various roles and opportunities and departments that make up your local sheriff's office. And so, to answer what is our Citizens Academy, just in a couple brief things, it's first off a 7-week course. So in total we have 14 sessions, and we host our program twice a year. So once we'll have it in the spring and one session in the fall. And so we just finished up our fall session. Typically the dates fall around for the spring session between mid to late February and early March, just depending on the availability of our presenters and locations. And then our fall sessions will typically fall and start around mid to late September. So we operate with a model of meeting twice a week on Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings in the current model that we have. Previous models have adjusted location and setting and time and morning or evening. And this current model is the one that we have found works best for the broader community, as well as the presenters and their schedules that we are working around. But that being said, we're definitely always evaluating, always reviewing what we have in place and how it can be improved upon, what advancements we can make to the program in order to create an efficient program that is accessible to as many people as possible. And so, but like I said, in this current model, we do meet Tuesdays and Thursdays of every week for that 7-week period, and it's from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that will consist of a lot of classroom style settings on our main central operations campus, as well as some field trips, which I'll get into a little bit more momentarily. So like I said, you will have classroom style presentations given to you by the men and women of the agency. I'll go a little bit more in depth into what kind of subjects are offered, but we try to capture as many possible departments that our agency offers, and we're always evaluating that as well. What is something new that we can expand upon? What is something new that we can bring to help give a good general overview of what your sheriff's office is doing, of what the men and women of the sworn and civilian roles are offering to commit to uphold that commitment of protecting and serving you, our citizens of the community, every day. And so you'll hear from professionals who have been in the career maybe just a couple of years like myself, but also you'll hear from people who are senior and veterans and have been in the workforce for 30 years or 25 years. And so it's an incredible feat to get that perspective, that viewpoint of people who have varying backgrounds, varying drives and goals and career paths, and get a better understanding of something that you probably had little information on. I learn something new every time that we go through this class, and it's incredible. And I tell you that your Marion County Sheriff's Office is top notch. And that's not just me, because I work at the agency. I don't know if I can convince you otherwise, but it is top notch. We are, the steps that are being taken, especially I know some of the technology that we have attained through our forensic program is incredible. And it's being utilized for other agencies because they don't have access to it. And so it is top notch, and we want to share that with you guys. We want to give you that information. We want to give you that power to have that knowledge, to go back to your communities, to know that, hey, we are here for you. We are here, and you can have trust in this agency and what this agency can offer and provide for you. Incorporated into our program, along with the classroom settings, are also demonstrations and field trips. And so, like I said earlier, I'll get into a little bit more on what kind of specific field trips that you can expect from the program. But we do go off-site for a couple of field trips, as well as tour some of the MCSO facilities, such as the jail. And then, as just a token of our appreciation, sorry, one moment. I'm gonna try to see how far I can go. As a token of our appreciation, we want to offer a small, simple graduation ceremony to anybody who has made that commitment to be a part of our program. Anybody who has come alongside us and taken that time out of their weeks for those couple days of the week to be able to just say, hey, we appreciate that you took the initiative, we appreciate that you made time, carved out time, and made a commitment to be a part of our program, and to have that interest in being invested into your sheriff's office, being invested into knowing better how to help your community by being the most informed that you can be. And so, the best thing about this program is that it's free and it's no cost to you. So there is absolutely nothing that you have to contribute financially to be a part of this program. And so, what is the purpose of all this? I've kind of alluded to it a little bit throughout, but I think to really encapsulate what the purpose of the Academy is, is to branch upon our 3 core values that you will see on our insignias, on our logos at the Sheriff's Office, and that's integrity, honesty, and trust. And I want to key in a little bit more on that and emphasize that word trust, because I think that's key and integral to why we do this academy. I am the son of a retired law enforcement officer who served 31 years down at Polk County Sheriff's Office, and I've seen the pressures of not only the stressors that come from working in law enforcement, not only the stressors that come from just working with other people in general, but also the societal pressures of being in a role that we all know is heavily criticized, that we all know is faced with a lot of scrutiny, and that is not always the most appreciated. And so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I know that I want to contribute my part in this role and in this program to build upon trust, to build upon fulfilling a sense of trust in you, the citizens of our community, in your local law enforcement, and what they are capable to provide you. And I want to do that in an honest and transparent way through offering you key, informative, transparent look into our agency. And by doing that, I think that demonstrates the integrity of our men and women who serve day in and day out, whether sworn, whether civilian. Something that you will find when you come and be a part of the program is that everyone has a great sense of pride in the job that they are assigned to. And they take pride in what they can contribute to the broader agency, to the broader community. And so everyone will come up on stage and they'll tell you that their job is the best job in the agency. And because of that, I think my job is the best job in the agency. And so, because I want to connect our law enforcement, I want to connect our community, build a sense of trust, build a sense of understanding and cohesiveness that we can see has been lost over time. And so I want to re-engage that because I've seen it in my own father's footsteps, and I see it in the men and women who work our agency who not really want to kind of go out there and say that they're part of Marion County Sheriff's Office because it's just met with so much scrutiny. But the sense of pride that you'll see in our men and women is astounding and incredible. So what you can expect from the Citizens Academy, some classes that you will be able to hear from, the departments that you'll be able to hear from, is you'll be able to hear from departments like patrol. You'll be able to hear from deputies themselves who are out there on the streets every day monitoring and responding to calls and incidents and reports time after time after time. Being in that report taker role, I tell you, they go from one call to the next call and they have to be prepared for high intense situations to low level situations that someone's dog is
defecated.
and so and then they'll have to be right on scene doing a chase. And so it's incredible the amount of training that they go through, which is another aspect of the agency that you can see as well, and the steps that it takes to be a deputy, the steps that it takes to be well-rounded and well-maintained throughout your career in such a high-intense job. But also you'll hear from drug unit, from major crimes, from juvenile division, in which you'll get to hear from school resource officers and their role that they are playing in the schools and affecting the children every day. You'll be able to, you'll see it a little bit later on. We have gun dogs now that go onto the school campuses and are really deterrents, and they can sniff out if there's any firearms on the premises. And we want to keep that up, and who, if they're available, you'll get to meet those gun dogs. And so there's a lot of canines involved, whether they're bike dogs, gun dogs, or the jail dogs that we have to sniff out contraband. That if you are a fan of furry friends, I would invite you to come along just for that purpose. So it's been a fun addition to the class. You'll hear from civilian roles like human resources, or this year we just added dispatch and communications, as well as our chaplain services and the peer support team. How our chaplain and how he and that peer support team have been able to come alongside these people that are answering phone calls in dispatch, or are responding to a very intense murder scene. How they can help people who are just grieving the loss of a loved one, and how they can come alongside those people and offer them support in a way that not a broader community can. And so these people who work beside them every day. And then forensics, as I mentioned earlier, they're an excellent addition to our agency, and the technology that they are capable of producing and going forth and solving these crimes, it's incredible. So, so with that being said, I was about to show you pictures, but
I got a question for you.
yes, sir.
Is it anything like a posse? Being a posse?
So I don't think we don't have any posses. So with our Citizens Academy program specifically, it's we are, and I'm sorry, I was looking down, so I don't know exactly who asked the question.
Right there.
Right there. No, we don't have any posses from what I understand. Currently, this program, those Citizens Academy, it's really more for informational purposes. We want to serve you the information of how the sheriff's office runs, how your taxpayer dollars are going into effect every day, and how that helps to maintain operation of our jail and the inmates that we service, and how that goes into maintaining the operation of all of our staff, and just being able to provide the resources and the tools and the equipment and the cars that are necessary to complete those daily tasks. And so we try to give you a transparent look, because your local sheriff's office is what you're investing into, whether you want to or not. Taxpayer dollars go and help to support and sustain your local law enforcement. And so for our program, its purpose is to inform and educate and just get that information in your brain, because you don't know what you don't know, but we want to give you the tools to know what it is. But we do have, I'm not over it, but we do have a volunteer coordinator who oversees all of our different volunteer groups, and there's several different volunteer opportunities, and I would definitely encourage you to reach out to our agency to see what are those opportunities, and what role that maybe you can play there at the sheriff's office.
We're gonna have her maybe in February.
Okay.
What's her name, Jen or something?
Sarah.
Sarah?
Sarah Jenkins.
Sarah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Jen. Okay.
But some of the field trips that you can expect in the during the course of the program, we go and take a tour of our inmate work farm. We go and set up a static display so you can see all the really fun toys that SWAT has to their disposal, and the helicopter. I mean, anyone a fan of chopper cops? And so that has been really big. And so we have our aviation guys come out, and you'll get to see the chopper. You'll get to talk to the airmen. You'll get to see our mounted unit that we have in place. You'll get to talk to our ag deputies. And so it's a neat opportunity to get to see the full scope. We have a super impressive mobile command center that is new to us. Before it was just a semi-trailer. Now it's like a refurbished fire truck that is just massive and incredible. And so those are some of the experience that you can expect in the program. We get to see bite dog demonstrations, and I would advise not to pet those dogs. The other ones are a little bit more friendlier, but I would just keep my distance in those.
We're you right. Get in with the password now.
And I appreciate you guys working alongside of me and some of my technical difficulties. Honestly, before I got here, it was about 10 minutes before I left that someone in the office had a key component to help me even connect it to the projector. So it was just about not going to work. But this is kind of like some pictures of what you can kind of expect to see in the program and what it kind of looks like. There, like I said, there is a lot of classroom style settings. There is engagement opportunities in which they're a little bit more interactive. There's a tour of our Emergency Operations Center, which is super impressive and a great hub of resources for this community. The preparedness level that our emergency management teams takes to be able to offer you the resources needed in times of emergency, in times of hurricane season, is incredible. And so we love to be able to show that off. Like I said, this is some of the tours that we get to incorporate field trips, as well as our jail tour and a tour of the a visit to the courthouse to see our civil and bailiff services. We also have a built-in working relationship with the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch, which some of you may have taken from this club, but we also build it into our program as well, because we love to highlight that organization and what they're doing and their mission.
Is that something that you do every time?
So the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch, we have started to incorporate it into all of our classes. It usually is a bonus field trip at the end. It falls on the Thursday following graduation.
So it's not actually part of the.
So I mean, we align it within that 7-week period. It's like the last class of the 7-week period. But we also know that some of you, like I said, have taken that trip before. Some people love to go back again, but if you've taken that trip before and you feel like you can maybe skip out on it, because that is an all-day field trip. Because it takes 2 hours to get to Live Oak and 2 hours back.
Yep.
So it's a little bit longer. I can't move Marion County closer or Live Oak closer, but I get to be your bus driver and tour guide for that day.
And the food is worth the trip.
Yes. So our youth ranch, they do like to take the opportunity to provide our guests whenever we bring them up a meal, and that you get to eat alongside of the students that they are servicing. And just a little tidbit on the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. I know I'm not here to really promote them, but any opportunity that we can, we love to, because it's a wonderful organization. Many of you have already been there. You've seen it firsthand. But they're taking teens and young children that are not probably in the best situation. Some are orphans. Some are very disengaged in the family, and some have a mom who is dead, a dad in prison, or vice versa. They're being raised by grandparents, and it's just really a troubled situation. And so before it gets to the point of law enforcement needing to get involved, what this youth ranch aims to do is mend hearts and heal hearts and mend lives. And they want to impact the young people of this generation, give them 4 pillars to go by, and that's work, study, pray, and play. And so they want them to have a work ethic, that they're on a ranch and they're going to work. They have jobs that they must attend to. They have to clean out stables. They have tours around campus. They're placed in a cottage among other kids, and they have cottage parents that help engage that work ethic into them, and still a good, strong work ethic, which is missing in a lot of our younger culture today. But they value that. They value study, education, a good education. They have a private school on campus in which they can meet and tailor the needs to those specific kids. So a kid that should be in 9th grade, but really he hasn't been able to study the way and hasn't been able to receive education in the way that he might be on the 7th grade level, they can tailor it to help him get caught up where he needs to be, meet that child where he is, they emphasize a focus on prayer. They want these kids to have a strong foundation in a spiritual realm, in which they can connect to, in which they probably haven't been exposed to, that can be a hope against what they have witnessed and what they have seen. Some of these kids, they're homeless, they're living in tents, mom and dad are gone, and it's just them. And so it's an incredible opportunity to give them a source of hope. And then play. A lot of these kids have faced hardship, a lot of these kids have faced drastic intense moments already in a young life that they have lived, and they want to emphasize the importance of letting a child be a child. And so letting them play, letting them also be a kid, and not having to force them to grow up so quickly. And so it's a wonderful organization. If you ever have the opportunity, whether through the sports club, the shooting club, or through the Citizens Academy, or if you get a group together and a different group that you have, we usually want about 10 people to be able to justify us taking the bus up there. And so if you ever have any questions on that, I have business cards up here today that you can give me a call, and I would love to see how we can work that into our schedule, your schedule, and their schedule, because it is a wonderful organization, and that's why we like to highlight and incorporate it. Like I said, this is some pictures of the chopper, our mounted unit, the bomb squad when they come out, as well as our EOC, our Emergency Operations Center, that you get to tour. And then, so with this, all this information of what the academy is, how do we register? How do you apply to be a part of the program? So I actually have these forms with me today. What I don't have today is dates. So I can't offer you an exact date because I haven't been able to secure locations and presenters at this point in time. However, that being said, I'm looking at an approximate start date of either
February, March.
yes. Well, it would, I was trying to think of the specific date, but it would be the middle or the last week of February, going into the first or second week of April, for that 7-week period. But you can take these forms today. I've made them generalized, and so if you would like to have them on hand, and then I'll go back into the process of how to submit these applications. Because I unfortunately am not a notary, and one of the forms do have to be notarized, but so I can't take it today. But if you would like to take those, please feel free to. But this is in case you lose these papers, how to access it later on by accessing our website, marionso.com/citizens-academy-sign-up. On that page, you'll notice at the bottom there's 2 boxes, and those are going to be your 2 forms. The application form, which allows us to run the background check for any applications, as well as the release for participation form. And so,
You have to be a Marion County resident?
actually, there's nothing that states that you have to. And I actually had a gentleman this past year that he lived up in Virginia, he lived in Jacksonville, and he was, I'll tell you, he was very dedicated. He drove all throughout the night, no sleep. He made it maybe 18 minutes late to class one day, but he was going to be there. So he drove from Virginia, and so it's not necessary, but typically most of our residents are.
Can you still have the form notarized on 200 at the sheriff's substation?
So yes, so with that, as you print and complete the 2 forms, the release for participation form is the one that needs to be notarized. And so there's 3 ways to submit. You can have a scanned copy of the form emailed to me. You can drop off the forms at a district office, or you can send it via mail to this address. And if you don't have time to get that today, I can always get that, and it's on our website as well. Get that to you. But that release form that needs to be notarized, for your convenience, any of our district offices, the one down here off 200, they have a secretary or staff person who is able to notarize that form for you. And it's free of cost, so it doesn't cost you anything. You can walk into our main operations building, depending on if that's a little bit closer on your route that day, and they can also notarize it as well. So any of our sheriff's office locations. So then the final question, am I eligible? So we do have a couple qualifications in which we ask our applicants to meet. So first, just to have that release, which is for the application form, to conduct a background check. It's a simple background check, but we do want to do our due diligence because of the information that is offered. Is sometimes just a little bit more sensitive information, and we don't want to just allow anyone to obtain that information and misuse it in any way. And so we want to make sure that we are vetting the people that are applying to be a part of the program. Also, we do ask that our applicants are 18 years or older. If you call an 18-year-old an adult, I know that I wasn't. So, but right now that is what we have in place. We are looking at trying to establish a youth citizens academy or teen citizens academy in which we can offer this program in a similar fashion to a younger generation that is in that transitional period of life, how they can maneuver potential career goals and how they can build a positive relationship with the local law enforcement themselves. We also are asking that, in line with the background check, no felony convictions. As we're doing that background check, as we're conducting that background check, we can evaluate that. I go to my supervisor all the time, Lieutenant Paul Bloom. I'm sure he's been out here a few times. And I go with him and we evaluate. We try to make sure that we're giving a fair analysis of what we find in the background check. But we do try to set that standard of no felony convictions. But we take every application case by case. And then we do require that all of our applicants attend all the classes. There is one excused absence built in, and every additional absence is a case by case basis. But we have a very limited number of how many people we can allow in the program due to jail tours and inmate work farms that are more constricting. Actually, from Mr. Don Erickson's time, we've had to constrict it a little bit more. And so right now our max is 30 people. And so we've had people on waiting lists that unfortunately they haven't been able to get in, and they're waiting until the next session to start. And so with that, that's why we want to require that people make that commitment to attend all the classes, because we don't want someone to say, I'm not really interested in all this, so I'll just show up for like 3 of the 14 classes, because people have done that before. And that's taking a spot of someone who could have really wanted or benefited from being a part of the program. So that's why we have that as a requirement.
How many people are already on the list?
Right now, I don't have anyone on the list as of yet. Actually, you guys are kind of the first preliminary me offering open applications. Usually we put it on Facebook, and applications will typically come out when we have secured those dates, and we'll suggest people go to the website and attend that, attend to the applications through that. But yeah, since I'm here talking to you guys personally and I brought these applications, and if you turn them in, I can hold on to them until I can get those dates secured, and then I can have those applications in. Once I have those dates secured, I can make phone contact with you to make sure that those dates still align with your schedule. So, all that being said, I know I've taken plenty of your time. That's why I used I still didn't do it probably to the best of my ability, but I used this because I had the tendency to overtalk. I had the tendency to go chase rabbits. So this is my keeping me in line. But I would like to open the floor to anyone that has any questions about the program or about community outreach or about the agency, what I can answer. And there's a lot that I cannot answer.
I applied 3 years ago. I fill out the application and notarize it. And I went to the police department in person and I handed it to the lady. I've been in the waiting list for 3 years. I'm waiting for someone to call me to let me know when the program starts.
So,
They might have lost it.
so I'm not sure in regards to that one, because that was before my time there. And I will say, because we host it twice a year, sometimes people can only attend a spring session and not a fall session. So and in the past, the forms have been a lot more specified with dates on them and everything. That's why I created generalized forms today. So probably it was just a misunderstanding on that part, and it was probably going to need a reapplication. So what I would suggest is just to give me to reapply, because I may not have access to those files. Like he said, it was 3 years ago. I've only been at the sheriff's office 2 years, and I've only been in my position 1 year. So I don't know where that fell in line at the time. I know there's been a lot of transitions over that time period, and so
Greg can talk here with this time. Yeah, sure.
Any other questions?
How many times you been at the ranch?
Sorry, what was that?
How many times you been up to the ranch?
I've been twice with our Citizens Academy and probably about 4 or 5 times with other community groups. And so a couple handful of times, and
Twice with us.
yeah, and then so yeah, it's a.
That's the one up by Yankeetown?
So this one is
Live
actually
Oak.
by Live Oak. It's in Live Oak. So there's different boys ranches and
Yeah.
different youth ranches, but this is the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches, and it was formed by 2 sheriffs. One of them being the Marion County Sheriff back in the 1950s. The other one, I think it was either Hernando or Hillsborough. I can't remember the other sheriff, but your Marion County Sheriff back in the 1950s. They helped establish the boys ranch up there in Live Oak, and it's been in operation ever since, and it's been amazing.
Silverman member.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Perfect.
18 years.
Yes, sir. And so, thank you.
What's the age range of the kids there?
So the age range of the kids there for the boys ranch, most of them
The
are.
ranch you're talking about?
Yes, most of them fall into the middle school, high school age. There are some exceptions into elementary age if they have siblings, but most of their siblings go to a different campus towards our Tampa area and Safety Harbor. They have 3 campuses, one for siblings and younger kids in the Safety Harbor, one for your general, it's called the Boys Ranch because that's what it was founded as, but it is co-ed now, boys and girls, and they're typically in the teenage years or preteen years. And then we have a graduation campus down in Bartow, Florida. So it's,
I think I was told that they have had kids there as young as 4.
yes.
Wow.
Yes.
But I don't think they have that now.
I don't think currently. I
Right.
can't really speak to the Safety Harbor campus. We don't really go there very often. The main one that we visit is the Live Oak campus, and that's what we've been partnered with. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
You know how the ranch benefits from the thrift store that you have over here?
Yes. So the thrift store that is here, all the proceeds goes back to the ranch. So that is a way, because they are a non-for-profit organization, and so anything that you buy from those from that thrift store will go straight back into to their fund. How they disperse it, I can't say. I'm not one of their staff members, but in a tour, that's something that you could always ask the staff there. But also, sometimes your larger items, they have had cars donated. They have had several big pieces of furniture donated, and they will sometimes filter those out and see, hey, could any of our cottage or any of our campuses, any of the scholarship houses, could they use any of this? one of our ranchers up there at Live Oak campus. He needed a car. He was having a job. He was earning responsibilities, and someone donated a car, and he was able to, having worked at the ranch, he was able to save up money and learn what it was to save money and to not spend it. And he was able to purchase a car and go get his driver's license with the help of the ranch, and took a huge, crucial step as he prepared to, I think he might have graduated last year, and so as he transitions into that next stage of life.
You know, the good thing about the sheriff's ranch is they teach them responsibility, and they have jobs. They have to have a job, and they also have to take care of their room and chores inside the room. So it's a very good place. It's not just an orphanage where they put the kids. They actually learn skills.
And a lot of people see it here at the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch, and they think it's a juvenile delinquency lockup, but it's really not. It's an opportunity to give these kids opportunities and a successful look on their lives ahead. And there's a lot of success stories that have come through it. People who have gone on to be WWE stars and law enforcement officers themselves. And so it's a neat organization that we like to promote any chance that we get. I really appreciate y'all allowing me the time to spend time with you guys this morning to share a little bit about what I get to do in the program I get to oversee. And so any questions that you guys have, I have my business cards up here. I also have the application and the release form up here. And I'll be around to talk after your meeting concludes. And so I'd love to talk with you, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.